We're live now, so give it a couple seconds here.
I'm not going to go mad because we've gone over. We literally just had the morning stream, didn't we? So
Yeah, right. I know we might just skip over the day after the member updates.
yeah, I think maybe that's the idea.
No, we gotta do Mondays.
Huh?
You gotta do Monday, man. You gotta do Monday. It's like skipping legs on Monday. You can't do it. It's leg day. This is a leg day of content creation.
We skip legs, dude.
I don't.
Skip legs. It's like skipping Monday on a leg day on content creation. That's a good one.
Yeah, man. You gotta start your week off like that. You can't start the week off taking a break. You gotta dive in.
Yeah, Max.
Is my microphone like repeating something? Because it says it's picking up sound, but there's nothing going on.
No.
No.
Sounds good.
I'm on a Bluetooth one, so it's
Do you have like the headset, like the like in the call centers?
No. I've got a speaker that's Bluetooth that is I'm listening to you guys, and it's also picking up my sound. So sometimes I wonder if there's an echo. Allegedly, it's not supposed. It's designed to eliminate that, but I always question it. I've been using it for the past few streams because that damn dog chewed up my other two microphones. Pulled them off the desk overnight last week and ate them.
Like, how is the dog? Is it still living?
He chewed up. I bought new hats over the weekend. Went out and got some new hats because I don't really buy a lot of like clothing and stuff. So I don't really go anywhere. So I went and treat yourself type thing. He chewed up two of them.
No.
Yeah, he got them off. He went upstairs, got them out of my room, off my my dresser, my vanity.
You need to play with him more, mate.
I do. I play with him all, dude. I take him running in the mornings. I have another dog here that I put him outside in the backyard. All they do is play. He chewed up my couch overnight.
I just ordered a laser for my dog so that when I'm sat at my desk, I can just do a laser around the room.
I'm going to do something I don't like to do, and it's going to kennel him. I don't really like kenneling animals because I think that, whatever, but I'm going to kennel train him, and he's just going to have to sleep in his kennel from now on. I'm going to lock him in there overnight if he can't behave. So I'll just eliminate all the other. Yeah, man. Hey, it's either that or he's just going to get his ass whipped constantly. Excuse my French. I'd rather not.
For everyone joining in, this is our morning. We just.
I got dog problems.
You get it raw every day.
Is that how we're going to open the show?
Yeah.
Hope you guys like it.
It's time to have a browse.
Yeah, it's Monday, Raw edition. Let's go. Yeah. Zigo, do you want to kick us off or you want me to?
No, you can. I was just putting something on the screen to give everybody some viewing pleasure.
Put your beautiful face up there, bro.
Man, I need one of the hats that your dog chewed up.
If I bought a leading crypto hat, he probably would have chewed that up. So I got to clean this chart up. Sorry, I was messing around with old folders here before the old show started. So let's get rid of a lot of this stuff. That's much cleaner. We're on the daily, so it looks a little. So for anyone that's just tuning in that hasn't been here, well, the drop has happened. The timing of this drop is very unique and perfect. You can see I have a zone down here. Really not all that important right now. I'm going to get rid of it. We'll talk about it later. It's just one of those areas where you need to know about it. But that's really it. After that, there's nothing left to really talk about. This, to me, was the Doomsday box from back in January. I did find that video where we built this chart. The problem is we don't have access to the original version, so I'm looking for a good screen recorder that will allow me to screen record it so you guys can see the process that we went through to find this. This was box 1, box 2, right? So we were looking for the 13th of May for the low. We got it on the 12th. Really can't be too upset when that chart came out because the chart did come out on just before January started, and then we recovered it on January 9th. So we were planning for these two boxes months in advance, just like we were planning for 47,707 up here being the high. So really, really nice. We've got time to say that this was going to be a bounce, which 22% is a lot. A lot of people looking for 20K. I'll point you guys into the direction of my Twitter. If you saw my interaction with Mr. Pablo Heeman over the weekend, he is quite the character, kind of an asshole, but he's got a big following. So yeah, we've come up into resistance off this bounce. This was a prior range that we found acceptance into, something that we were tracking pretty heavily here on the bi-weekly. We'll pull that up because it is relevant to what we need to see at a price in the terms of long term, right? So I believe it's here. You can see we filled out the range exactly, right? We have the POC of the range here, which was an MPOC. And we were looking for at least 26,865. That has been clipped and put in the general chat, down to 25,100, and it came down to 25,222. So really, really nice there. You need to break above this merged TPO value area low that I've been working off of at 31.2, one of the levels that I put on the chart. And then there is the weekly level, which has become pretty well known at 31,773. So really more of an area here that you need to get back above, but you are holding the January or June 22nd lows from this move here, which this was actually a trade that I had posted in early May. Someone else actually picked up on it in a larger group after that, but the reason I chose it was a little bit different, and I'll run through that real quick because this is going to be a fairly quick one for me. There's not much to talk about. This was a 5.0 right here, so a little market structure, right? So why was this low so important? Well, when you were looking at this, the final move before your peak here, this is the final larger pattern at play, potentially anyway. There's another larger one we could talk about. You had this D leg here, right? And I had said that if we lose 43,1750, that you would just be targeting to defend B. And so this is where I'll be placing my orders, which was a really nice place to do it. And if you guys have watched my content from back in the summer when this was going on, after that, we're just looking for 29,800 to hold, which it did. Boom, boom, boom. Got a lot of people shorting into this resistance. What did we get after that? We got the range reclaim. Okay, so had we lost 29,800, well, I would expect to see the box get filled out. This was the target, basically, this NPOC and the end of this box. Well, 29,800 did hold. You knew it was going to hold based on local range data. You had CVD divergences, absorption at the lows, lots of things that we're going to tell you to take along there. And you had trap traders, which was most important. So right here, once you found acceptance back in the range, you knew you were going to cycle it at a minimum. My target on that was 58,822 and an NPOC from quarter two up here. So I did not sell at the exact highs. I started taking profits in this region. And then scalping shorts, and then we had a really nice move up, and 62K became the invalidation zone, right? So 62,000 flat. Once you lost 62,000 flat, it's been all downhill since. Looking for the doomsday box that we had. But the reason this is so important, one, it's a historical range, very, very nice from this region here. Two, the top of this range. So now that we're back in it, you can find it's very well respected here on like the EQ, for instance. You can see right here, it's where we bounced from initially. Then just finding rejection in this zone right here, finding it again. And you can add the June 22nd low. I would keep the range POC, and I would just start working off of this. From there, you guys could pull local range if you wanted to. And what you can see is that, well, if we are to come back to this, let's shore this up a little bit here, actually. From here on over to like here, you can see that if we come down below the June 22nd range low and we don't close there, you do have the value area low here, and I believe you should have a local golden pocket coming in that region as well. I don't have it pulled up, but I imagine it's coming in that area. That would be the area I'd want to see. If you lose it, well, you're going to re-challenge this low, and we do know from looking at our chart here, right, is that we have a this box that we've been working off of, this NPOC box. Okay, so it's a wide box, but we haven't filled it out completely, and we also have not closed the gap completely. So the gap does not have to fill all the way. We have talked about that. But, you know, in the instance the recipe is made here where we start losing these key supports, double topping potentially here at the June 22nd summer lows, then, yeah, you would look for a re-challenge into this wick. And if that's lost, you're just playing to see if you can get a swing failure pattern of the low and maybe fill out the 24,000, 23,000 high somewhere in that region. Otherwise, break back above this region, guys. Very simple. That bi-weekly range is telling you what you need to know. We'll get rid of this here. And you can see that we have the 35,027 and 36,270 marked off. I would just set your alerts at the levels on the charts and trade them accordingly. Use order flow to guide you once the levels are hit. And it's really that simple if you want it to be. That's going to be the key. Max is probably going to go over the order flow from this move here. I think it was a pretty standard clear-cut move to look for a short in this region. We did have another setup. A Dalton was in play yesterday as well for those in the group, so they saw that coming. But again, we're talking about if you get back above this level, you really do have a move up into this region here. And from the big trend, if you guys recall, we were looking for a one-to-one potentially. You have two trends that you could be looking at on this, right, to make this easy for you. So inside of that original chart box, we do have our big trend here. And you can see that your one-to-one does come in at $24,239. And that in order for us to really invalidate the idea that we're going to come down into this region, we need to get back above the golden pocket. So in terms of a trend-based pull, you're looking for this golden pocket first. If you break that golden pocket, well, you are trending now to the downside. You can now target the one-to-one. So for us, we're looking at 34,000, 34,900. Does that come in anywhere that's relevant to us? Absolutely, it does. It comes in right here at this last local area of support up in this region at the low side of the structure. So it would stand to make sense that we would come up and challenge that area should we finally be able to break through. We'll just call it 31,000 to 32,000 area. That's kind of the zone of resistance here. I have 31.2 to 31,773. That would be it. Now, you do have another trend. If you're looking at this as one giant impulse, you could make the argument that this is the trend and that we've now come into the golden pocket. So again, supporting the idea that should we lose this low in this area, we can now begin looking for these areas of confluence below us. The issue with this is the one-to-one on something like this does come in all the way down here at 11,928. Which is a common target for people, if you recall. So if we were to extend this over right here, you can see it would just be back testing this old structure, right? That would be quite the drop. And I think that's getting very far ahead of ourselves. I think that even before then, you do have to be looking at this as a zone. Again, I said we talk about it. So macro 382 in log scale plus an untapped key level from 2021 and a Q4 in POC, which you guys know how much I love those. If this goes sideways here, this could be good. Again, losing this local golden pocket here at 25,787 to 24,626, not to say it can't wick below to like 24,239. That's when you really have to worry about this not being a local bottom. For me, I would love to see sideways action. Me and CVO were talking about it last night after our members only. I'd like to see sideways action in this region. Get a nice range going, makes for some nice trades. You have to think we did just distribute a very large top. So you have to ask yourself if this is a new trend that is just beginning right here. So you can see this is a new trend beginning, or has this trend already been underway, how you want to view the charts, right? Like how I was viewing it before. Is this already underway, and has it just been doing what it needs to do to get to the point it's at now, and maybe it's starting to finalize and put in a bottom here. So we'll have to get more information on as it comes. You know, we're going to trade it either way, but this would be the idea behind it here. You can see that this is the impulse down. This is your first major high at 52K as a pit stop, so to speak. And then you had a local trend right here where we could make the argument that this was even a local trend that had just began as well. And it did catch the lower bottom here. And that's kind of how I designed these boxes, was based on trends, a lot of volume as well. But for me, pretty neutral. You know, you guys know that I'm buying in this region, have been buying, but we've also talked about how this was a 22% bounce right into resistance, and we've seen quite a bit of it. So you do have to be taking profits on those. And if you're day trading, you know, taking the day trade longs or shorts off of either A, the swing failure pattern, or B, the resistance right here. Timing wise, there is a time, and it's starting to become more and more prevalent on people's charts. It's something we've been talking about since 2020. July, our major macro pivot comes in July for this asset, right? So for anyone that's been following me, I can get rid of this stuff because I put it on there because I'd made a video a long time ago about these dates that are coming up in like the maximum and the minimum bands where they would fall at if, you know, you had the maximum or the minimum for that indicator, which is really just an average and it's projected. It's not meant to be exact, but yeah, you have your next pivot in time, major pivot in time coming in July 14th. These have all been very, very important pivots. There's your high. This is the macro break of the 0.5 before we made our move, last impulse. It's your 25% China pump. And then there's your exact low right here for the cycle. So I've been mapping these out, and July 14th is coming up. Hoping to go sideways up until then, to be honest with you guys. That would be the dream. If we drop lower, though, well, we'll get those 20K targets. Start there and then work our way down if we need to. But I don't really know that I'd be getting too ahead of myself for that. In terms of one of the charts I'll be going over and making some content on this week, fresh content for the masses, will be this guy. This is an old chart and I need to update it, but still very, very relevant. This was the area of interest that was marked out. It's on my TikTok from when I marked this out back in, all the way back in April of 2021. I just held on to it. Bitstamp data. I did update some of the fibs, but this was a deep crab in log scale, just worked out by hand. Very, very nice. Timing on it was really nice. So caught the exact low right here for that. So that was really good. But I need to work it out and see what the distribution is going to be in terms of time now going forward. So, but getting back above this area again, now with the updated fibs showing 31,824 to 33,233. So really kind of a little zone here. If you're looking at strictly from like a fib standpoint on this as a pivot, this was TP1 if you were shorting and you would have got it, right? So that was really nice. You got it here, ran back to the highest distribution, which this is going to the 2.24, which is the maximum for that. And then down it goes, right? So this was the buy it all level, which comes in around that $11,000 region. But realistically, if you're losing this TP1 box and you can't recover this ground, right? This isn't a swing failure pattern of the lows where we come back into the range and get a bullish retrace. You are looking for X then over time. So if this does get flipped to resistance here, and we never see that flipping of even just $33,000, this could make its way down to the prior all-time high, absolutely. And I imagine other macro factors will be there. But I think you should trade what's in front of you for right now if you're trading, because there are no guarantees. And I do think that we're in bounce territory. So the question is, what kind of a bounce are we going to get? And will it provide any type of a change in direction over time? There's nothing to say that it will right now. But that's all I've got. Otherwise, I'm just ranting at you guys. For anyone that's watching that's in the group, just a friendly reminder on Tuesday, which is tomorrow at 7:30, we're going to go over my system that I use for pitchforks. You've probably seen a couple of the guys that were in one of my old groups that I built it with, and they're already using them, so I'll show everybody else how to use them. So it should be a good one. Otherwise, turn it over to Max and let him do his thing.
Let him flow.
All right, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. So there's only two things that I really want to mention because we did have the members live stream this morning. Was this trade here, which was the day open today, 4 a.m. for me. But you did have, longs being absorbed at the highs. How can you tell? Well, you have the CVD divergence, which shows longs being absorbed. Where could you have entered the trade here? Well, you can see it was this candle here with, it's not a crazy amount of longs that have entered here, but you can see them. The delta in these two candles is 3.8 million and 2.1 million, both of them together. So there's 5 million delta. Granted, there's been not much time between the two of these. However, it could still be considered the weekend somewhat. Volume's been somewhat dead. And it does create a divergence for us to trade. And when can you, get into the trade? Well, in this candle here already, all the candles that have created that divergence have then been put underwater. So, if you're trading it, you enter here, you've had your selling imbalances on increasing open interest in both of these candles. So pick whichever one you want if you're fast enough. And your stop loss goes above the high. Now, there was a daily level here, which, may have scared you out from taking the CVD trade. But when could one have, entered a trade? Maybe after we broke this level. Well, if you looked when we came down and tapped it, we stalled here for about half an hour. And then towards the end, if you can see in this last candle here, it's actually on positive delta. And there's not a lot of volume there, granted. But from what we've had in this area, it was signaling, okay, something's going to happen. Because, it jumped, it doubled from, the other candles that we've had in there. and it was mainly longs coming in at market, and yet you can see the candle ended red. So you come up, tap the VWAP, and all the longs that entered here, granted not many, but they were clearly absorbed. And then you broke through the level on a huge increasing volume, which is what you want to see when you're breaking a level, whichever way it is, up or down. You want to see a big increase in volume. And then do you get the follow through? Well, the longs that come in here, so people have tried to short it down here. Granted, they've been held up somewhat, but then you get the follow through in this candle here with the 1.4 million sells that have come in. Again, another imbalance here, 409K, another 1.3 million sells here. It's not got an imbalance because the long was somewhat equal. I've got my percentage quite high. So these are very strong imbalances when you see them. But yeah, the selling continued. And as you've just broken such a key level, the 31K daily, it's been an absolute beauty of support and resistance. So as soon as you break that level, it's quite important. These are all the levels that I'm watching. I told the group what I was thinking, may occur if we. The main thing is I want to see us claim this area. I'm not going to, tell my thoughts in this video because it's just for the group. But yeah, this is where I feel like if we really claim it, it's rather bullish. We do have a Asia naked point of control coming at 30,350. There's also the let me have a look on sheet. Also something else that yes, you also have the previous day point of control in that area, the previous day value area high in that area, previous day equilibrium. You've got a few things here just above the area that I'd like to claim of resistance. So, maybe we could extend the area to just above that equilibrium. If claimed, I really do feel that some bullish momentum behind us because of the higher low, and I expect that high to be taken out. So yeah, I put my notes in the group in the BTC chat area in the members section for what I think of that. However, in this area that we're in here, this was the other thing that I wanted to mention. There's been a lot of market longs enter, and we have failed to reclaim that resistance. All we've actually done is play around. If we zoom in, all we've actually done is fill these PVAs since 10 o'clock my time. The PVAs have been pretty much key in the way that these two forced us down. You've then come up eventually and filled them. This one here you got at the top. You've then come back and filled that. And you've got a red one here, green one here. And every time you're getting one, you're filling them out. And then the volume has somewhat dropped off here because you're not getting any PVA candles in this section. So yeah, the candles will let us know when they want to break out. We'll get a spike in volume. But yeah, looking at the order flow, the footprint chart in this area, there's a lot more market buys, and with them not claiming that resistance and turning it into support, it doesn't look too good, to be honest. Because when you want to see Delta going in the direction with the trend, and if the trend is really failing to go anywhere, it means that if price starts to come down, there's more positions in this area to get squeezed out to the downside. So yeah, whether we just get a swing failure pattern of the lows and then come up, that is always a possibility. But yeah, if we want to go lower, where can we look at? Well, we've got a daily level here, which is here, washed through it somewhat, but it was still, that is still an area of support that I think one needs to keep on their chart. Other places, the 0.5, I feel is pretty solid bet. If you come down, maybe swing fail this low, you take out the lows here, come tap the 0.5, then up you go. It's always something that could happen. There's so many probabilities that could go on here, but with us not claiming that daily here at $30,071, the longer we spend here without claiming it, in my opinion, it does look more likely that we do come and test some of these supports. Yeah. But yeah, that's it for today. I put a little message. There's like 4 or 5 lines in the BTC chat in the members area for what I do want to happen and what I'm looking for the upside and the downside. But yeah, the longer we hold here without taking that high, chances are we are going to come down, in my opinion, because the longs are failing here.
Getting faded.
Look, look, you can see them here coming in and trying to push us up higher. Then they're failing to even claim the VWAP. That's 9.3 million positive delta in this candle, 7.9 million here, and every time they come in, they're getting pushed back down. It's not looking good. So yeah, I'll leave that for now. On to you, Stevia.
All right, let's take a browse. This is the Bitcoin futures, CME futures. I don't think Magic touched on this one today. We had a little gap that I think got filled already for this week, but still paying attention for this one up here, which gives a lot of confluence to some of our, our bounce ideas in the near term here. Not to say that we couldn't come down first, kind of like how Max was just saying. One thing from our recent swing high to swing low, right now looking at this, you do have that gap, give or take, in this 34 to 35K area, right? That's also right in line with the golden pocket. Once again, this is on the CME chart, so if you put this on the regular Bitcoin chart, could line up a little different, but on CME, that's what you'd have sitting here. To me, looking for something in this nature where we actually run it down to the local golden pocket, which is down here at about 27.5, right? Kind of dance around these the lows down here. Even if we don't take it, right, then that is something I'd be looking for, where we kind of come down here and just kind of get that golden pocket, bounce it back up to this one, and then pay attention when we come up to this region. That would be another pretty decent area, right? Just if this was to go down, be another like 20, big move right there, right? So not something to shake at, even though we're not reclaiming like 40K and going right back up. That would still be a really big move in the market. Obviously, the rest of the market, the altcoins, everything as a whole would be probably doing pretty well, even if it was just getting dragged up by USD pairs. Bitcoin dominance is another thing I want to take a look at real quick, which leads into an idea here as well. But that's something to pay attention for, is that 34, 35K area on the CME chart as well. We were looking at this last night in the group too. Is that our Bitcoin dominance, right, is basically ran it straight up into the range high here that we've been looking at. This is for the last like 14 months, basically putting in, this structure up here, essentially just consolidating right under resistance while the RSI is pulling back, right? So not necessarily bearish divergence or anything coming into play right here quite yet, unless we get this push higher and we don't really get it. But this could also lead to a pretty nice little move out of the RSI. Gives you plenty of room. I'm just pointing that out because we could actually see a pretty decent little move higher here at a dominance if we don't get the rejection and just get a straight BART right back down, which would be ideal. I would want this chart to go down for the altcoins. If this does push higher, then that's implying that we're either going to get a Bitcoin rally, where it's Bitcoin's pretty much outperforming the altcoins as a whole, or we're getting another drop in the market, right? So just something to be aware of here is that this is a pretty crucial mark. So we are at resistance though. So, the probability of coming lower is a bit higher at the moment. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. ETH is pretty much the other one, right? That well, I think I threw up XRP and Cardano on there too. But last night we were looking at this, right? Had some bearish divergence coming across the board. Looking for, a pullback, not only just to this golden pocket, but at this point, we got rejected around this weekly area. So our natural target is just going to come back around this point of control anyways. This is our range that we basically re-entered, right? As we dropped down from last year, quarter three, it looks like, actually. I'm sorry, quarter two, of last year, right? So we have the range lows where we based off of so far, and then we've been holding the point of control as support. So golden pocket locally lines up with that. So if we do get a pullback to there from yesterday when we alerted this, if start to finish, that would be a pretty substantial drop. So hopefully, some of you took some cautionary action there, or possibly entered shorts. I know a bunch of people actually entered some shorts on Bitcoin at that 31,300 area that Magic had pointed out as we were coming into that point of control, amongst other areas as well. So yeah, you got a possible double top, deal going on here, right? A little take the high action. So we'll see how things react once we get here. If you do lose this point of control, then we're going to come back down and test the lows. At that point, that'll all probably line up with the idea that Bitcoin's coming down, taking the lows again too, and we'll go from there, right? So we have had a really substantial bounce, right? That is something to keep in mind, is that, while this might not be straight up reversal area, 20% in ETH, 20 something percent in Bitcoin. And then you had, a multitude of major, bounces in the altcoins, some of them over 100%. So that's not unlikely to just get, these natural pullbacks at this point now, a couple days later. So we really just want to see, not just saying we're going straight down from here. Like I said, we do have some areas right below us, another couple percent to the downside, about 5% right now for ETH. So we'll see how things turn out, right? And then we do have that gap above us, up towards 34, 35K for Bitcoin. So if we do get that run up heading towards that, obviously, like I said, the rest of the market will be heading higher. For ETH, you really want to see this weekly level claimed, right? That's pretty much that easy level to the upside to get over. Very similar to Bitcoin's weekly level that we were looking at. And from there, we've got the previous range low coming in here, and reclaim that range, and then we're looking back up again. Major target in the short term, if you clear this weekly, would be up here at this point of control. Once again, $2,600. Allie loves watching the updates while folding laundry. That I'm giving this update while I'm folding laundry, so I don't have my camera on. So that's what we'd be looking at for there. And Cardano has just been pretty much in a bit of limbo here, right? So let's see. I do want to point out, actually, I want to put this in the group today too. Axie Infinity has ranged between this weekly level and this daily level pretty perfectly over the last few days. And it's just been, even if you're just catching the low and the high, like 26% moves, just consistent. Obviously, at some point, it's going to break. So hopefully, the next one isn't going to be it. But coming back down to this weekly level, maybe in an area if you want to pay attention for about 18.99. See how things look around there, and you could run this back up once again, even just to the range high at 22. But this has been one that is just a solid 26%, 26%, 26%, 26%, and then down again. So just something to put on the radar there. And Cardano, same deal, right? Kind of as ETH and the rest of everything pretty much looks the same right now. I know everybody was getting pretty pumped about these inverse head and shoulders that were popping up, and they could still, I guess, play out to some degree. If anybody's looking at this, and you could even, with the pattern trader, right? Like they're going to manipulate this level down. So even if you do come all the way back down and hit this golden pocket, technically, I guess you'd still be just retesting your, I don't know, whatever. Looking for this golden pocket regardless, and then from there we're looking higher. If you were looking at this as an inverse head and shoulders, just throwing out as a for instance, right? You'd be looking basically up towards that range low. So interesting to note that, right? Because if we come up and we get a rejection at that range low, that's not going to be good. Granted, that would in the short term be a nice move to the upside, right? Even if you moved up from here in a spot trade, obviously you risk coming down. So I don't necessarily know if I'd enter right now because you got a possible double top coming in here either way. 40-50%, right? And if you get that bounce from that golden pocket, and that's where we end up heading, that'd be a 75% move. So this is one of those times where it's important to kind of, have some ideas lined up, because you could definitely, take something off the table at this region if we don't reclaim that. Is not reclaiming that level would probably send us back down. I would imagine that revisiting this area would mean that Bitcoin's probably shooting up towards that to fill that CME gap, right? So once again, everything kind of is in context with each other to some degree. Regardless, for Cardano, I'd be looking for this golden pocket down here at about 46 cents. And otherwise, take the high recently about the 61, and then we'd probably be heading higher here. So 3-month level is really important, been really important. That 72-cent level that we lost, right? This was our big shots fired warning that was indicating that we were going to pretty much come down to here. There was nothing in between these levels, and that's exactly where we came down and basically based off of. So But yeah, for upside, swing here, like I said, take this high, 62 cents, and be moving on. The other thing I just want to point out, and it's not the most beautiful, but pretty much everywhere is printing this, and it just depends on how you want to look at it, I guess. But for me, I'm looking at this swing high right here. You got this high right here, and granted, I know because we took this huge dump, so it's just kind of going to have to balance out a little bit. But when you got a high coming in here, and now we definitely, we got a local high here because we have turned around here so far for about 4 hour candles here. You're getting some pretty decent bearish divergence if that's the case across the board, right? So it's not just Cardano. Bitcoin had it as well, and this was, another thing that lined up with what we were looking at yesterday. Granted, when you're looking at order flow and open interest, that's definitely going to trump any of this. But just as far as just something to kind of put on the radar, Bitcoin, it was showing signs as well. And then you got ETH, same deal, right? Coming in from this swing high all the way back up here right before our dump. And then now we got this high that we just put in place here locally. You got a higher high coming in here, lower high coming in, just, hidden bearish divergence in the sense. So just adds on to the idea that we're probably going to, remain to the downside a little bit, even at least just to hit these smaller, lower targets in the short term. It doesn't have to be something crazy. And then eventually, this RSI will, dig back out, because right now we just went through such a huge decline that, it's got to balance out essentially. But yeah, that's what we're looking for. So ETH is a really good gauge, in my opinion, of the rest of the altcoins, right? So if you're coming down in ETH, assume that the rest of the alts are coming down the same percentage or more. Look for levels that are, relevant around for the upside. I brought up on Cardano, you'd be taking the high, and realistically, I'm sure that there's something around there. But for ETH, it'd be taking this weekly level, which would, obviously take the highs here. You'd be putting in a high, higher low, higher high. If this is end up where we turn around for some reason, that'd be a higher low. And then you come through here, you take that weekly, and that would be your confirmation. That would be heading higher. Point of control at this point would be your major target in the short term, about that $2,600 again. Otherwise, we're looking to this region right now. So yeah, short and sweet. Magic said we couldn't skip Monday, because it's the leg day of content. So we, Leading Crypto doesn't skip leg day. So here we are. Need to teach his kids to go gotta work smarter, not harder. Oh man, you guys are funny. Okay, awesome. Well, hope you all enjoyed this brief update here. I still feel like it was pretty much packed with some nuggets. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow for another update in the morning. And anybody in the group, like Magic said, he's going to be doing a classroom for the members tomorrow, going over his methods for pitchforks and couple other things, I believe. But if anybody's interested in joining the Leading Crypto Discord server, we do run this together, right? Leading Crypto. So the information to join that is in our descriptions on TikTok and on YouTube. You have access to all of our altcoin updates, Bitcoin analysis, order flow, open interest. We've got our members only market updates where they are performed live but recorded and placed in live recordings area for anybody that can't watch at the time. And we've also got an academy that goes over pretty much all of our tools and resources that we use daily to help get you all caught up and up to speed. So anybody else got anything to add before we finish up, gents?
Nope. Happy Monday.
Happy leg day. All right.
All right.
Let's have a browse. Had a great week, everybody. Till next time. Cheers.